Now, I'm going to try to make this as relaxed as possible, and I know it's a very tense topic, so I know everybody's generally at the edge of their seats when you talk about finance, which is very normal, so don't feel bad. Now, the reason why I may know a little more is just because I've been in the industry a lot. There's a lot of experience. I have put over 10 years in the industry. I am, yes, used to be a loan officer until the mortgage meltdown happened and I had to find something else, and so I kind of completely switched over into investments and life insurance, and so got a lot of exposure to that. And I'm securities licensed, which means I can do all your investments for you. IRAs, all your 401ks, tell you what to do with them and what not to do with them, and that's what I specialize in. So let's talk a little about your finances. We kind of think about it. Many of us tend to believe that for us to be financially secure in America, we got to make 6 figures. If I'm not a doctor, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not an engineer, then I would never get to live the dream life, right? And if you don't get to live the dream life, then you believe your kids will probably always have to take student loans. Guys, unfortunately, there's a way around it. We have the wrong belief system. And as soon as you know what to do with this money, then you are able to plan a better future for these kids we have. And so the question I ask you is, which I'm sure you're asking yourselves, is, well, I don't have the money to begin with, right? But then we do have the money for that shoe. But then there is a way of finding that money. Many of us have money sitting in CDs in the banks. Yeah? Okay. So I know a couple people were doing it the wrong way right now. Okay. So you kind of think about it. When you walk into the bank, the first thing, particularly at tax return time, the first thing the teller asks you, do you want to open a CD account? Why don't they ask you if you want to open a mutual fund? Why don't they ask you if you want to open an IRA? The bank does those, right? But they will not ask you that. Why? Because if you look at the rate of return you're going to get from that CD, 1%, 1.2%, you make nothing from it. It's chicken change. They'll happily pay that to you. Now, most people tend to believe, from my exposure to a lot of Africans, is that we think when we put $10,000 in the bank, they put a rubber band against it and put it in a drawer. So when you come back for it, it's right there. No, the bank doesn't do that. The bank takes their money, invests it into the global market, makes a good return from it, and then is happily willing to make 12% return and pay you 1%. And you're so excited. Think about TD Bank, those of us from the DC area. TD Bank has opened, they just opened in 2010. Now that's the only bank in the country which stays open to 8 o'clock at night. The only bank in the country which opens 7 days a week. Do you think they're crazy? On Sunday, they open till 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Why can they afford to do that? Because they are investing our money in the right places. And guess what's happening? We are happily giving them that money. We work for our money. We should put our money work for us. How do you do it? You have 401k accounts in your companies. Many of us invest in our 401k accounts, and these companies do not match them. You're throwing your money away, right? So the first thing you're supposed to be asking yourself is the company matching? And how much are they willing to match? If they match, only match up to that amount, and then put the rest somewhere else which is going to work more for you, right? Now you do have IRA accounts. Everybody in here must have an IRA account if you plan on retiring someday. Those in the nursing field, in the medical field, we think we're strong enough to work 16 hours a day right now. There's going to be the time when 8 hours feels like 16. There's going to be the time when 4 hours feels like 16. And then there's going to be the time when you don't want to wake out of bed. The question is, what do you do? Well, you better start preparing right now so that when that time when 4 hours feels like 24 hours, you have saved enough money to be able to get yourself to live by on that lavish lifestyle and not have to suffer. Many of us see the elderly people who work at Target or Walmart, Guys, these people do not love their jobs. They're doing it because they don't have a choice. We came to America to get a better lifestyle. We came to America to enjoy all that America has to offer. And if we're going to enjoy that, we need to start now. We need to start investing our money. So yes, you need to have that IRA account. For those of you who have an Apple product, I'm an Apple freak. There is a software, it's called 9-in-1 calculator. The number 9, the word in, so 9-I-N, and the number 1, calculator. It is a wonderful app. What that app does is it tells you whether you're in track with your savings or not. Ask yourself right now, how much do you need to have every month for you to be able to live the lifestyle you want to live when you retire? Many of us need $20,000 a month. If that is the case, then you need to make sure that you benefit from time, be able to fight inflation, so that at that retirement age, whatever your age is going to be, you want to retire at 60, you want to retire at 65, you want to retire at 50, or if you're like me who wants to retire at 40, then you have to do something right now. So the first thing, if you kind of think about it, for those of you who have gotten on the app, I think the app costs you $1 or $1.99. Think about this, and I love it because it makes it very practical. Okay? If you think about the things we spend money on throughout the year, on a monthly basis, we feel like, and we have ways to justify our actions. We have ways to justify why we waste our money, right? That latte, which costs you $5, guys, a $5 latte today is the equivalent of a $200 latte 15 years from now. So you think you can afford $5 now? What if I tell you 20 years from now that you spent $200 on lattes every day? You think you're crazy, right? Imagine if you invested that money, $250 a month, over a 20-year period, and particularly for those of you who have young kids. At a 12% return, yes, there is 12%. I'll give you a cheat sheet. There is a mutual fund called EXSSA, A-C-E-I-T-X, A-C-E-I-T-X. EXSSA has been paying over 18% for the last 5 years. Last 5 years. Oh, look at this. EXSSA, A-C-E-I-T-X, A-C-E-I-T-X. EXSSA is a beast. I call it a beast because people make ridiculous amounts of returns. There were some years EXSSA has made 27% in returns. Guys, the reason why we lose money in our 401k is because, do you know how that 401k representative makes money? By the volume. They come to your company, they sign up 1,000 accounts, they get paid X dollars for 1,000 accounts. You are that young person or that person who is just so focused in their business, focused in their home, you don't know what your 401k account is doing. This month you get a statement, the money has dropped. The next month you get it, it drops some more. And you get to a point, you're like, I'm not going to look at it. Well, you better look at it, because what's going to happen is someday you're going to wake up and you're going to have $0. And your owner or your manager is telling you it's time to retire. Now you have a problem, right? Because you're begging to be extended. What you need to do is look at that account. What you need to do is make sure that you understand that you can do rollovers in your company. Okay? There's something called in-service rollovers. Ask your HR. Your HR department should know whether your company permits in-service rollovers. It just started, Obama just started it right after the Enron issue. What that does is at 59 and a half, the company would allow you to roll your funds into a mutual fund, into an IRA, without you incurring a penalty. and you can start withdrawing out that money. The benefits of having an IRA, it's important, guys. You need to have a Roth IRA. Why? And that's simply because if you invest 5 years in a row, 5 years in a row, and you're 59 and a half, you will take out every penny of that money without paying taxes. I am determined to find out how not to pay taxes in this country legally. That's one way around it. Guys, we laugh about it, but it's important. We need to do something about our lives. We need to do something about our children's lives. Our children are not supposed to be taking student loans. There are ways around it. We need to invest. Unfortunately, I only have 20 minutes, and I cannot talk so much more. But I can ask for a couple questions. Anybody with a couple questions? And I know that's a topic which needs a lot to talk about, but unfortunately, hopefully, maybe in Minnesota we can get some more time. Questions?
Yeah, I actually am asking this more from to benefit everyone. Is because some of the instruments that you're talking about also be very sophisticated that these people understand those rules. Because I remember when I started investing years ago, it took me a while even to get what some of these things are. So my question would be, because there are all kinds of things in real estate. People can think of it as yes, you do. So there are other ways, but how much should someone take a financial, because that's like extent that it's worth it, and what should they look for a financial planner? Someone that understands this and can guide them versus they're struggling to figure out all these things on their own, but give up because it's just too complicated and
Okay. Well, we're looking for a financial planner. Don't go too far, I'm right here. But another thing is you need to be looking for someone who is licensed. Ideally, someone who has all the investment licenses. Maybe not necessarily all, because most people don't want to take those exams, but the 2 investment licenses which they need to have. One is called a Series 6. A Series 6 investor, someone, or Series 6 license, is someone who has been educated on how to invest your money. Basic investments. You're talking about your IRAs and your mutual funds. Basic stuff. Now you're looking for somebody who is 6 to 3 licensed, because they're going to be licensed in the state you're working. That way, if there is a need for you to go somewhere else, they're still able to follow and manage your account. Those are your 2 basics. Anything else is just extra decoration around the licenses. Anything else? Anybody else? Yes, Auntie. I'm sorry.
What is your take on people who are self-employed and they do the investment with life insurance and almost like a retirement plan?
Okay.
Companies are selling them.
Okay.
You can for people in their own, like owning their own businesses, you pay monthly, and it's like really good to put money in it. But when you want to get it, sometimes they tell you it's not maturing after 3 years, and you put in so much. And so, what do you? Is it a good move for self-employed people who don't have a 401k and they're looking for ways to invest towards retirement?
Okay. For everyone who is self-employed, you need to have what is called a SEP IRA. SEP IRA. A SEP IRA is an IRA account which is open primarily for people who are self-employed. One of the benefits is it helps you with that tax bracket. Generally, most people who are self-employed push themselves out of the tax bracket they're belonging to. So it helps you with that. But secondly, what you're going to be doing is, for those of you who are using life insurance as your investment, you're making a mistake, unfortunately, right? Now, you're making a mistake. What is life insurance? Life insurance is to insure your life. It's basic English. I mean, we all went to SICA, right? Now, what you need to do is get your insurance, get your investments. Now, you're going to find some products which do life insurance and do an annuity together, right? Now, that's an exception to the rule. My issue with that is your kids do not need to have annuities, right? Annuities, what's an annuity? An annuity is an investment product which is meant to help you when you need retirement funds. Well, our kids are not going to be thinking of retirement anytime soon. So that's the reason why we need to put that money into something else. Hence the reason why you should have a Roth IRA, right? I do not recommend individual IRAs, and that's why Obama started Roth IRAs. It's a very simple reason. Roth IRAs give you that cover over taxes, how to escape from having to pay taxes, which individual IRAs do not. Remember, the money which is going into this IRA is money which has been taxed. So what's going to happen is if you invest generally into an IRA, there's what is called the principal, which is the money which went in. And then there's going to be your dividends, which is going to be the profit you made from that investment, for lack of a better way of describing it to you. And so that money you must pay taxes on. But if you have that Roth IRA, we found a wonderful way to jump around that, right? So yes, as a self-employed, you need to have a set IRA. And then also you need to make sure that you buy insurance and buy investment, insurance investment. If you're thinking about retirement in a few years, yes, insurance and annuities, and it could be your basic, you're looking for basic insurance at this point. Guys, if you save properly, if you invest properly, and this software is going to help you see how you can throw, very simply, if you put $500 a month into an account, $500 a month into an account. I'm one of those people who love shopping, so I'm looking for the quickest way to get what I need, and then I'll stop investing and allow the money work for me. So if I do $500 a month into a regular mutual fund, for example, and there is a cap, you have to remember that you have a cap. For the first, for the first 6 years, you have to look at how much you're going to return. Push yourselves, we can do it. $1,500 a month, yes, you can do it, don't worry. That means you don't get to shop too much. There is something called the Rule of 72, and I'm going to give you guys this homework. Please read it. The Rule of 72 can work for you if you invest, or against you if you borrow. It works for you, you invest, or against you if you're borrowing. It is 72 divided by whatever interest rate you get. So if you get a 12% return in your mutual fund, 72 divided by 12 is 6. What does that mean? Every 6 years, the money you've invested will double. If you buy a home, this is how it works against you. They tell you look for the lowest interest rate you can get. 72 divided by the interest rate you get will tell you how long it would take for that mortgage, that loan you borrowed, to double. If you look at your note, the note is the paper on your settlement documents which tell you your interest rate, your APR, and the final amount you pay if you kept that house for 30 years. If you look at it, that amount is always 3 times what you borrowed. It is. You buy a $300,000 house, after 30 years you pay $900,000. That's how that Rule of 72 has just worked against you. Hence the reason why everybody here should make sure they are doing a bi-weekly payment. Make sure you do it. You pay your mortgage on the 1st, well, pay it on the 1st, and half on the 1st, on the 14th, the next half. On the 14th, because you'll not get that late fee, which I hate, but then also, it's going to show on your account as if you made 2 payments, and your thing will go down. I have to stop, I'm sorry.
Thank you very much. We're keeping